Something weird is going on with the Dallas Cowboys, and it's very strange between Rico Dowdle and Mike McCarthy and whoever was involved in the decision to not have him play on Sunday Night Football against the San Francisco 49ers. The Cowboys, who struggle on the ground almost more than any other team in the National Football League, they held out their most productive running back. Why? We'll break it down on this episode of Cowboys Digest. Welcome in everybody to Cowboys Digest. I'm your host Peter Vryonis, and today we're going to be talking about the weirdness surrounding Rico Dowdle and the fact that he didn't play on Sunday Night Football against the San Francisco 49ers. Cowboys could have definitely used another productive running back in that game, but I'll digress. Before we get into it, I want to let you know that a large percentage of you watching these videos are not subscribed to the channel, so go ahead, hit that sub button. It's free, and we're close to my goal of 2,500 subscribers by next week. So it'd mean the world to me if you could help get me there. But guys, let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into the video right here. Cowboys running back Rico Dowdle, after being ruled out for tonight due to an illness that came on as he arrived at the stadium, comes down to the tunnel to sign some autographs. I mean, why would a sick guy be mingling with the fans? Very weird to me. Very weird to me. And he seems all right. Cowboys Rico Dowdle is no longer sick and could have played today if there was a game. That was the next day following the loss to the San Francisco 49ers at Levi's Stadium. And it says a lot about your organization when literally none of us are buying the story that Rico is actually sick. Like, for the sake of Rico, I hope you're good, dude, but something fishy is going on, especially after reports of him being seen in a good mood jamming to music. Now, ultimately, I feel like this was not his decision to make. Maybe it was coming from Jerry Jones. Maybe it was Mike McCarthy and the coaching staff. They wanted to get a look at Dalvin Cook. Last time Rico Dowdle played in a matchup on Sunday Night Football, he looked pretty damn good to me. He rushed for 87 yards against one of the most stout defenses in the league in the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he was a big reason why they came away with that W after that game. He was a huge reason why they won that matchup. Now, you fast forward a few weeks, and they're playing against the Niners, a team that they've had no success against. They activate a guy for his first game of the season, Dalvin Cook, which I still thought you had to do anyways. But instead of Deuce Vaughn, I think you should have activated him instead of Deuce Vaughn, because he deserves a look. He's a veteran. He's had some great seasons in the past. Maybe he's not the same guy that he used to be, but you got to give him a shot here. You got to see if he still has anything left in the tank to rejuvenate this run offense that just has nothing so far this year. So you drop Rico Dowdle, who has an illness. I'll say illness with the quotations there, to activate Dalvin Cook, a guy who hasn't played a game all season, who's been practicing, who's looked good in practice by all accounts, but has not had the real thing yet, has not had a taste of NFL football this season. So you activate him against a team that is your arch rival, against a team that has owned you in the past half decade. For what? Why are you throwing a guy into a fire like that? That doesn't really make much sense to me, and I totally understand what Kevin Turner is saying here. It is fishy because he seemed to be in a good mood. He was on the sideline. Why would he be on the sideline if, he can get other guys sick? If he can have the rest of the team come down with this illness? I don't understand it. There must have been a call made from somewhere else. Now, this running back, Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, we got our first look at Cook in the backfield. Rico Dowdle has been serviceable, but he's not the answer. Not sure Cook is either, but this is the choice that the Cowboys have made for better or worse. Now, I don't know if this was necessarily them choosing Dalvin Cook over Rico Dowdle, but I think Dowdle is much better than both of them. There is no reason why he shouldn't be the primary running back. Now, Zeke, I think, looked fine in some spots. He actually broke off a 10-yard plus run, which was nice to see. I didn't know if he still had that in him. But I think if we look at all of the guys side by side, Rico is the youngest one. He is the one with the freshest legs. And he is the one that has had the most success in a bulk role this season for the Dallas Cowboys. So to me, it's a no-brainer to have him be the number one guy back there. It's an absolute no-brainer. Now, for whatever reason, you're deciding to make that change. I don't know if it was actually an illness, but you're deciding to make that change and give Zeke Elliott the majority of the carries, which was only 10, by the way, for a team that wants to establish the run. Didn't look like they tried to establish it that hard. And then you get Dalvin Cook a couple of looks back there, caught a pass out of the backfield. It wasn't an impressive showing by no means, but he could still play. That was evident with the game against the Niners. No doubt about that. But I think Rico is your clear number one here. And I don't think he's a number one on any other team in the National Football League, but he's your number one. That is the choice that you made in the offseason. You brought in Zeke Elliott. You brought him back. He's clearly not the same guy that he used to be in the past. So Rico is your de facto number one. You signed Dalvin Cook late. He hasn't gotten a taste of NFL action this year. Rico is your guy. Deuce Vaughn, I don't want to see him carrying the ball ever again in the backfield. No disrespect to him. It's a great story. He's inspiring for undersized players that are trying to make it to the National Football League, but keep him on special teams, all right? Get him off the offense. He does not belong there. He is not supposed to be carrying the football for me. And we could take a look at the other side of the argument here from Nick Harris. I promise not everything is a conspiracy theory. If someone had this plan to make Rico Dowdle inactive, why was Deuce Vaughn made active in his place and didn't play one snap? Rico will be back in his feature role in Atlanta right next to Zeke and Dalvin Cook. Maybe. Or maybe Jerry Jones is just taking us all for a ride yet again. That's also possible because Jerry tends to do that. Now, there was a lot of pressure from the media. Oh, the run game sucks. When are you going to change something? When is Dalvin Cook going to make an appearance? Maybe Jerry made the phone call to Mike McCarthy saying, yeah, is Rico healthy? Yeah, he's healthy. No, he ain't. He's not playing tomorrow. Maybe that's what Jerry did. And because that happened, Dalvin Cook got a look. And they didn't want to disrespect Zeke Elliott, Cowboy legend. I don't know. I'm reaching here. I'm trying to find the answers as to why we're not playing our best running back against our arch rival in a game that we needed to win. And then you look back and maybe a couple run plays could have saved you that one. They could have given you a better chance to win the football game, but you ultimately lost. And you're now sitting at 3-4. You're on the outside looking in. You're probably not going to make the playoffs. The fans are calling for Mike McCarthy's head. They're calling for your head, Jerry. Nothing is going well right now in Dallas. And just to pile on, you're giving into the media pressure. You're not sticking to your guns, which is something that Jerry has done for almost 30 years now. So it's interesting to me. It was an interesting choice that Mike McCarthy or whoever had a decision here made, and it's too bad for Rico because I really think he's starting to find his groove, and I don't know if he's a number one, but I think next year if you draft Ashton Genty in the first round, we can only hope, right? We can only hope. Then Rico would be a really solid number two behind him, and that solves a lot of problems on offense for you. A lot of problems on offense. And I saw this stat here that in the last, I think it was 5 years, the Cowboys have only drafted one running back or wide receiver in the first 3 rounds, which was Jalen Tolbert, by the way, in the 3rd round. So that is by far and away the least in the National Football League. And if you take a look at the San Francisco 49ers, a team that has Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Jawan Jennings, a team that is stacked with receiving talent, George Kittle. What do? They draft Ricky Pearsall in the 1st round. They draft a wide receiver in the 1st round. They double up. They make sure to leave nothing up to chance. Look at this. Brandon Ayuk out for the year. Who's stepping up now? It's Ricky Pearsall. Great story, by the way. I'm so glad that he's back after getting shot in the back there. It's an amazing story. I cannot believe he's made his way back onto the field. But who is stepping up in the midst of all of those injuries and the lack of performance? It's the 1st round pick. It's the guy that's supposed to be a dynamic talent, who is a dynamic talent, catching jet sweep passes, in the slot, lining up as the wideout. You name it, he did it all for the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday night, and he was a big reason why they were able to keep the pressure on Dallas. So Dallas has some serious reflecting to do here. They got to draft some weapons. Enough with the offensive linemen. You got to try to develop those that are in-house. Enough is enough now. I understand the need or the want to get this generational offensive lineman that will solve all of your issues and be an all-pro for 10 to 15 years. I get that, but they're not always available, especially not when you're picking in the 20s. Go draft a receiver to help out CeeDee Lamb. Go draft a running back. Go do something, because this is enough now. There are no weapons on this offense besides CeeDee Lamb, and it's getting exposed week in, week out. You got to do something now in the offseason, because that's what I'm looking forward to. I didn't mean to go on a tangent there, but let me know in the comments down below. Ashton Genty, would you want to see him in a Cowboys uniform, or do you target someone else in the first round? Let me know. But again, guys, thanks for making it this far. Hit that sub button, and I will see you all tomorrow. Go Cowboys.